What's going on, guys? Welcome to another one of Black Iron's battles. Today we've got a Total War Warhammer 2 Mortal Empires 2 versus 2 quick battle for you. And this one is an excellent battle. You guys are really going to enjoy it. It's pretty long, but it is just intense. And if you guys watch to the end, I'm sure that you'll be rewarded. It is just a great battle. That's why I had to show it to you. If you see here, I've actually taken the Greenskins. So I'm with my old favorites. We've got Grimgor and Draniel, the famous Draniel from Turin's channel. You know, from Draniel fame. He is using the Chaos Army. If you look here across from us, we are arrayed against the Lizardmen and the DarkElves. And there is just all sorts of crazy stuff going on here, but let's go ahead and put it on pause for a second while we go ahead and take a look at the armies. So first off, you'll notice that I have taken Grimgor Ironhide, and just a little bit different than normal, I have taken let's see here, I've taken Gitsnik. So if you see here, we've got, when we use it for 34 seconds, we get 40% armor piercing damage and 26 melee attack. So besides, since he's already got 70, that puts you way over 100. With WAAAAAAGH, you're probably at 130, then you've got 600 or 700 weapon strength. It is just nasty. So I did that so I can probably cut through something if I want to. Maybe get through Krokgar, or we'll see there. Besides that, for my other hero, you see I do have a Goblin Big Boss on a Spider. That Duelist, we'd like to have the Poison. Although he doesn't have armor piercing, he's definitely always a good cheap addition. In the back for our Magic Caster, we do have this Orc Shaman. And the Orc Shaman has Foot of Gork, and here we go. So not too many spells, just enough to go ahead and get that plus 44 melee attack on Here We Go, and that should be pretty good. Here for my front line, you'll see I've brought a ton of Black Orcs. So I've got 4 groups of Black Orcs. I do have the Warlord's Boys, the Regiment of Renown, which has that armor sundering ability, so that's going to help a lot. I figure that'll help take down some of those big dinos, or you know, different things like that. We've also got the 8-Peak Loonies, which have their special loon ability. That's always really fun. The loons of eight peaks, man, those guys are nasty. Plus these guys have poison, and so they're good. We've also got our modified Goblin firing line. Besides the Rusty Arrows here, we've also got Mogrove's Mangy Marauders. 2 of these together, plus a couple of groups of Goblins, makes a cheap and effective firing line. Here in the back, we've just got 1 group of Goblins with 1 chevron in them, with the last little bit of gold I had. That's to guard our flanks there. And besides that, we do have 2 more units over there in the corner. We do have 2 groups of nasty skulkers. So those were I was going to keep them in the back and sneak them up, try to use them to ambush something there from behind. Over here for Draniel's squad on the right flank, you'll see he's got a couple of groups of Marauder Horsemen, and these are the throwing axe variants. So when they have throwing axes, that gives them armor piercing. And so if you look here, they've got 32 armor piercing missile damage, and that 21 of that is armor piercing. So that's a huge amount of damage for a missile. And those guys are pretty awesome. And plus then once they run out of ammo, they can still charge in on their horses and do some damage that way as well. He's also got 2 groups of Chaos Poison Warhounds and 1 group of the Chaos Knights with Lances. Now these Chaos Knights with Lances are anti-infantry. They're pretty strong. They should be able to do a good amount of damage, and you know, hopefully they can ride through some skinks or some stuff, get into the back of some Saurus, something like that. Here for his front line, you'll see that Draniel has Chaos Marauders. He's also got a group of Chaos Warriors, and then in the back he does have 2 groups of Forsaken mixed in with a couple of Chaos Warriors there with great weapons. I thought he had 2 groups of Chaos Warriors with great weapons, but I guess he only has 1, so it's just a ton of Chaos Warriors here and some Chaos Marauders, as well as the 2 groups of Forsaken to do the damage. Here in the front, you'll see that he is bringing the Warp Chicken. So he does have Sarthorio, the Everwatcher, with all of his lore of metal goodness. If you look here, let's see there. If you look there, he does have Searing Doom. He's got Final Transmutation, Standard Die. He's got metal shifting, so you know, he's with that. He's also got that reduction to range damage, so he's going to be able to soak hopefully a lot of the. We figured a lot of the range damage from the DarkElves and from the skinks. So speaking of skinks, let's go ahead and take a look here at the Lizardmen army. You see, of course, like most Lizardmen, good Lizardmen at least, he does bring some chameleon skinks. Those are those overpowered. I mean, I guess they're not overpowered. They're very strong. They've got 23 you know, missile damage there. You see they do have poison. They've got poison on their melee attack. We got a couple groups of them. They're very fast, and with their poison ability and their speed, they're really just super effective. Here in the back, you'll see here's some Saurus warriors with shields. We do have some Saurus spears as well mixed in here. There's some Saurus warriors, and then finally a group of temple guard. But a lot of his money you'll see is spent here on the big boys. So he does have the Skink Priest of Heavens, and if we take a look here, all he does have is wind blast. So he's ready to do some wind blasting. Besides that, you see he does have Krokgar on Grimlock, as well as 2 Bastiladons of Solar Engine. So he's spent a ton of money on dinos. And if we took a look over here on the left, he actually does have 2 more groups of dinos. He does have these Pterodon riders. So those guys are pretty awesome. You don't see them that often, but they do have poison, and they're able to, you know, fire while they're moving and do a good amount of damage. For the Dark Elf player, last but not least, he does have some pretty nasty army himself. So with all those dinos, besides that, we are facing 2 dragons. So we've got a black dragon here. Look at him looking all nasty. And we do have Malekith on top of a black dragon as well. And he, you know, Malekith on top of that black dragon, he does have noxious breath. He's armored. I mean, these guys are just beastly. So 2 dragons is always going to be hard to deal with, and with 2 Bastiladons, Krokgar, I mean, there's dragons everywhere, especially with those range units. So besides that, he's got some witch elves there in the back. He's also got bleak swords here in the front, and so with all the money he spent on dragons, he'll have a little bit cheaper of a line. 3 groups of bleak swords here. He's got a group of dread spears, and then he's also got some dark shards here with shields. 2 groups of dread spears in the back. Oh yeah, last but not least, the important guys, the big black guard and Agron. Those are those elite halberds. Those guys are going to be ready with their 44 armor piercing. 30 of that's armor piercing damage, so they've got anti-large, charge defense, so if we had anything big, it'd be smashing in there. But last but not least, here in the front, they do have the Dark Riders with repeater crossbows, also doing armor piercing damage. So my black orcs there in the front with no shields, they'll take some good damage. But it's a long match, so let's go ahead and get this started, and let's just go ahead and see how this plays out. As you see, we haven't brought any artillery, and they've brought some. So you're going to see right off the bat those solar engines start taking shots. They only took out 1 Chaos Knight though, and it looks like they took out, you know, 4 Chaos Poison Warehounds, so not too bad. And then you see Sartorial is going to be moving right up in here, and he's going to be dropping, I always forget the name of that spell, but he's dropping his ability right there, but he did miss those Saurus warriors. So you see he's actually going to start taking some shots, and that's what we exactly want. We want those community skinks to start taking shots at Sartorial. But you see the Dark Elf player does not bite, so he's not taking any bit of that with those repeater crossbows, and he's going to start firing in here on my Black Orcs, which is not what we want. Here in the back, you'll see I'll start moving my nasty skulkers in. I'm hoping to get in the back and hit those archers. That'd be my main goal. Look at this, Sartorial has taken some good damage, and look at those chameleon skinks. They're already pretty far down on their ammo, so he sucked a little bit, and I'm glad that he's taking it and not me, because the greenskins here I've brought don't have a lot of shields. Alright, over here on the right, you'll see that Draniel's his mobile cavalry unit, his 2 Chaos Poison Warehounds are trying to get around here on the back edges. They're going to try to get in the back end, and we are actually going to start taking some shots. So look at this. This is going to be a good one. Hold on, I'm going to slow it down. And so I noticed right off the bat that he has surrounded Sartorial, and that is never a good idea when we've got a greenskin caster. We've got Gork has appeared. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, and boom! Watch those health bars. Watch those health bars. They are just going to disappear. Oh, there goes that group of dark shards. There goes the repeater crossbows, taking huge amounts of damage. Let's go ahead and hit play. You'll see that just shakes them all off. Sartorial's sitting pretty, and Gork just came to the party. Besides that, you can see my ranged units have started firing on this other group of dark shards, so we've taken out a heavy amount of his ranged units. Oh, look at that. Malekith casting spells left and right, but he's gonna have a hard time matching it. Look at that. So we've got 2,000 troops remaining. They've only got 1,000, and that was actually Malekith using his noxious breath up there, and he actually missed and didn't get a very good hit on those Marauder throwing axes. Look at that. Because of all these heavy hits, all of these units of the Dark Elves are routing off, and even though we haven't really engaged much with the Lizardmen, the Dark Elf player is coming down heavily. If you look here, this Black Dragon is already down to half health, and we are chasing it with all of our ranged units. We're trying to do everything I can. If you look here, the Rusty Arrows are engaged with it. We're going to go ahead and get that Goblin Big Boss on it to poison it, and that is going to break it off. That armor piercing from those Marauder Horsemen with throwing axes is the perfect thing to take off that Black Dragon. If you look here, we have you Smoke Bomb, the Witch Elves are down, the Nasty Skulkers were able to get in the back there, and that is pretty much just a mass rout for a lot of those Dark Elf units. This Black Dragon is off the field, and we still have tons of ammo left on our throwing axes and a lot of our Greenskin units. Here in the center, you'll see that we do have WAAAAAAGH going, and Kroq-Gar is in here. He is squaring off against Grimgor. Grimgor is in here. We've got Gitsnik activated. He had WAAAAAAGH activated. He had 600 weapon strength, and he's done a huge amount of damage. These guys right on top of Kroq-Gar, they're engaged with this Blackguard of Nagaron, and Kroq-Gar is going to have to escape off to the side. And if you look here in the air, the Priest of Heavens is actually still in here doing huge amounts of damage. Over here on the left, though, you'll see that these Chaos Poison Warehounds and these Chaos Knights have finally been routed off, and they did not get a lot of damage done over here on the left. They were having a really hard time with all of those Saurus Spears and those big Bastiladons. They were having a hard time finding a place to really land. Here in the back, you'll see that we do have some units in reserve, and we are still trying to... Oh man, Malekith got another... he's just nailing. He's been trying his best to get rid of these Marauder Horsemen. He knows they're a huge problem for him, but we have actually got him trapped as well. There's Noxious Breath coming in from this Black Dragon, but he is pretty much broken. 300 health on this one, and we've actually got a Smoke Bomb on Malekith over here, and Malekith is going to stay taking damage from all the archers that we got. We've got throwing axes coming at him, and that is actually just starting to put the balance of power heavily in our favor. If we take a look here from the top, you'll see pretty much everything start to go in there on Malekith. His health is dropping so quickly. He's got 800 remaining, and he is broken off, but we just don't really have any units to go after him. This Black Dragon is also wavering, but he may actually come back into the battle. I'm not sure. I think we've got these throwing axes going after him. I don't know if they're actually going to be enough to take him out. Let's see, he's got 140, and yeah, that actually shatters him, so hopefully these guys will be back in, and we're just going to keep trying to take out Malekith and keep trying to see what we can do. Here in the middle, you see we're kind of reforming our ranks a little bit. We have taken these Blackguard of Nagaron down. They're almost out, and a lot, if you look, a lot of Draniel's melee units are heavily damaged. These Chaos Marauders only have 30 units left. A lot of these Chaos Warriors are down. These big group of Halberds is actually doing well in here, though. It's surrounded this Bastiladon, and this Bastiladon will go down very, very quickly to this group of Chaos Warriors with Halberds. Look at that. I mean, he is just dropping quickly. The Chaos Poison Warehounds were able to get back in, but so does Kroq-Gar. The Chaos Poison Warehounds are all routed off. The Chaos Knights are routed back off. Still only 18 kills on them. And these Chameleon Skinks are going to keep doing heavy damage. Same as these Pterodons. Those guys are going to pretty much, I think, rout the rest of those Chaos units off the field. If you look here, all these Taurus Warriors so strong with Rampage, the Lizardmen. They're actually able to rout off these Chaos Warriors with Halberds. This Bastiladon is still fighting, and we've got another one over here, which is almost out of ammo, but there is just spells going off all over the place. If you look, we just got hit on the Goblin Archers, but that is actually okay. So the Goblin Archers are really cheap, and I really don't mind when people spend a lot of time focusing them. If you look over here, we actually have Malekith coming back into it. 700 health, and we just cannot get a break. We have managed to take down this Bastiladon, and so the trick is, I've got this Goblin Big Boss, and he's getting in there, and he's doing major work. So I'm getting him, and I'm getting Grimgor together. I keep using WAAAAAAGH, and since I got my Foot of Gork off, I'm really just going to be using the rest. Oh, there goes... Oh man, there goes another one. I mean, he has been just nailing that. So look at that, Malekith's 500 health. He's being routed off, but oh, look at, I mean, that Goblin Big Boss could not even touch Kroq-Gar. He was able to take out that Bastiladon that was left, but there is still tons of health left on all of these units, even though we've routed off almost all of the Dark Elf units. If you see here, the Bleak Swords are gone, the Dark Shards are barely remaining. He does have one more group of Bleak Swords, but we don't have a lot of units left either. If you see here, we still have our Shaman. But he has two groups of Pterodon riders up here. In the back here, he still does have Malekith, and everyone is piling onto Grimgor. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Grimgor is fighting against Krokgar. He's fighting against this Bastiodon. There's Malekith overhead, and Grimgor, I think, maybe has met his match. Yeah, I've got Foe Seeker activated. I've got Gitsnik activated, but and I'm even trying to cast whatever I can. But look at that. He went from a quarter health to no health in no time. He is just knocked left and right. That Bastiodon still at full health. Krokgar still doing just fine, and we're gonna just keep having to charge units in, because now at this point the balance of power is almost back down in the middle. I do have two groups of black orcs up here, which I'm gonna go ahead and send to these Chameleon Skinks. But he still does have Krokgar, he still does have the Skink Priest, and he's got Malekith. We just cannot seem to take out Malekith. There's just tons of action going on, and I'm at this point I am not too worried about Malekith. I'm really trying to get Krokgar get taken down. So I do have this Black Orcs. I've got some armor piercing there, and that is really what's important for me. But then look at that. That Noxious Breath comes in there, and it just destroys my Black Orcs. So we are really pulling it close right now. We're down to 700 troops to their 300, but the balance of power is now heavily skewed back towards the middle. We were almost 3/4 our direction. So at this point, it's me and Draniel are screaming, oh my god, we gotta group up. I've still got some Black Orcs here. We've got the Warlords boys, and they're taking a few hits from these Dark Shards. But I mean, we cannot seem to finish these guys off. If you look here, this last few group of Blackguard and Nagaram, they've actually managed to break my Orc Shaman, but coming in here, we've got those Marauder Horsemen. They're going to charge in, and they have actually shattered the Blackguard. So at this point, we're just going to try to shatter each individual unit you can. You can see here, those Goblin Archers are taking some shots at these Chameleon Skinks, but these guys are just not on the same par. Those Chameleon Skinks, even without any ammo, they're going to get in here, and they're going to rout those Goblin Archers right off the field. Here in the back, you'll see that they are doing the smart thing. This Dark Elf player, he is chasing out those Black Orcs that got routed, and he is trying his best to kill them. We do have the second group of Black Orcs, which actually managed to escape. And at this point, everyone's kind of just going to take a breath. I think they're just going to try to gather their remaining units and see what they can do. So at this point, you can see here, Malekith, 478. The balance of power is a little bit in our favor, but not much. They still have 200 left, and they still have two groups of Pterodon. They have a full-strength Bastiodon. They've got this Skink Priest, which is getting over here and just routing off the last of these Chaos Warriors. You see here that they've still got a few Temple Guards left, I think 11 of those. And there's just a little bit left on everything. We've got Malekith with 400. And Krokgar there. Krokgar is what's important. Krokgar still has 2,000 health, so that is going to be some major work. Some Chameleon Skinks are left, and for us, we've got these Black Orcs here. We've got a full group of Black Orcs. We've got the Warlords boys, which should be able to help. They do have that armor sundering, so that should help a lot here at the end. Draniel has a couple of groups of Chaos Warriors. He's got those halberds left, just a few of them, and he does have these Marauder Horsemen, but they do not have any more throwing axes. So at this point, we've kind of just lined up our lines, and this is about to be the last battle. So if you look here, they're gonna all start charging in. We're gonna take a look from the back, and you see there's a rampaging group back there, but there is just gonna be a massive charge here, and he is gonna come right through. You see those Chaos Warriors though, they'll negate that charge, and we're just gonna get in here. The Orc Shaman's gonna cast Here We Go, and we should be able to do a lot of work. We've actually got the Warlords boys in here, and just watch as people's health drop. The Marauder Horsemen are actually caught up here in the back. You see they did try to take out those Chameleon Skinks, and even with the Black Orcs' help here, they're actually routed off pretty quickly. Malekith is just so terrifying on that Black Dragon. Even with 400 health, he is able to rout off a ton of units. You see here, we've also got Chaos Warriors for scattering, or Shaman scattering, but what doesn't scatter? This group of Black Orcs. We've got one group of Black Orcs, we've got another group coming in here, we've got Marauder Horsemen that are just coming back left and right, and we are able to use this group of Black Orcs that came in from the top to kill these Pterodon Riders. They're broken. We're able to kill the Chameleon Skinks, and it is just neck and neck at this point. It is so crazy. We are trying to get everything back into the battle. Look at the corpses on this field. The biggest problem for us right now is going to be Krokgar, and it's going to be this Bastiodon. Because, I mean, look at all that he has left, and we are just barely putting things together. We've got Here We Go again. We've got the Warlords boys, and they're actually going to get in here, shatter some Saurus warriors. And with that Here We Go, those Black Orcs may be able to do it. Look at Krokgar. He is just surrounded by Black Orcs. He is going to try to get out of there, but not until he's broken. He has 500 health remaining. He is routed off the field, and at this point, it is just about killing this Bastiladon. Malekith charges in there, and we want to get on him as soon as possible. He's got 300 health remaining. If you look here, oh, here comes the charge from the Marauder Horseman with throwing axes. Malekith has 100 health, and he is shattered off the field. So that is actually going to be heavily in our favor. We've still, oh, Malekith drops dead. Look at, there's the corpse of the second Black Dragon, and there is just, oh man, Chaos Warriors routing again. Marauder Horsemen can't stay on the field, and we have like a small group of units here which are really just trying to take out this Bastiladon. It still has 4,000 health, but it is completely surrounded. And we're going to do everything we do to keep these new units when they arrive from routing us off the field. Oh my god, though. We do not have any leadership left on the Greenskins, and that is going to be a real problem. You know that the Greenskins leadership has trouble. It is back to halfway again. 45 enemy troops. We're routing off. Warlords boys routing off. Black Orcs are gone. And this is just the last unit of Black Orcs. At this point, we're just trying to get on whatever we can do to give us better leadership. Oh man, we're wavering, and it is 50-50 at this point. I think at this point, the only thing remaining is this group of Black Orcs. Look at that. The Chaos Warriors are broken. Everything is pretty much broken off the field. We've shattered this group of chameleon skinks. If you look in the back here, all the Saurus warriors are gone. We've got one group of Black Orcs which has come back over here, and this group with 15 Black Orcs is actually able to surround and kill this skink priest. The skink priest is broken, and you look at this, these 15 Black Orcs, even though they're going to get a rear charge here, now we've still got 15. They've got 800 health left, but the skink priest is broken, and we've got these two groups of Black Orcs remaining. It is so close. 12 enemy troops, 139 of ours. We've still got a couple of Black Orcs remaining, and this is it. This is it. One group of Black Orcs. Can they take this Bastiladon? I doubt it. In my head, I don't think so. I keep trying to bring these Warlords boys back, but they won't make it. And oh my god, this skink priest is going to charge right back in here. Watch this. He's charging in. The skink priest is charging in, and I immediately have to charge my Black Orcs right at the skink priest. I know that with his 30 armor, he's going to be a problem. If I can take him down with his 200 health, I just want 100 health, and if I can kill him, there goes the dreams of that Lizardman player. If you look at that, there's 100 health. The skink priest has shattered. So that is it. The Bastiladon with the solar engine is shattered, and that is how one group of Black Orcs, amongst a pile of corpses and dead dinos and dead dragons, everything, just complete chaos, one group of Black Orcs remaining saved the day. I hope you guys really enjoyed that one. It was so much fun to play. Me and Draniel had a blast. If you guys don't know about it, we've been getting into a Discord channel so that we can all play together. You know, check out one of Turin's streams to grab the Discord chat. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's go ahead and take a look at this post-battle wrap-up. So if you look here, let's take a look at Draniel's team. He did get a bunch of kills on some of these Chaos Warriors, but overall it was the Marauder Horsemen with their leveled up abilities that were able to do so much work. The fact that they were attacking these Black Dragons, the fact that they were taking down the heroes, and with their charges at the end, they were just so crucial to breaking morale and just really routing units off of the field. And I think it belays how much work they did to have their number of kills. Besides that, we had those two groups of Chaos Warhounds, and they were just harassing constantly with these group of Chaos Knights. And even though, you know, these Chaos Knights maybe didn't find a good place, they were still a big pain for that Lizardmen to deal with. And what these units did is they allowed the Lizardmen to pay one attention over there to right, and it allowed us to kind of separate and kill that Dark Elf player. If you take a look here, 63 with the great weapons, and I mean some of these units they went down kind of early, but overall Draniel was just so vital in protecting the flanks and doing all of that damage late game. And the amount of damage that Sartorial soaked, I mean, that was the big plan. The big plan was to bring Sartorial so he could soak the range damage from all these units, and that was just, it really worked out well. For my side, you see Grimgor with 32 kills, and the same thing I think like he did with Sarthora. We really, instead of killing units, we were trying to kill their heroes. So it was so important to take down those dragons and different units like that we may not have got as many on our legendary lords. Besides that, you saw that orc shaman with that big 40-foot orc in the middle got 90 kills. The big boss was all over the place, and look at just the damage I took across the board. Out of the 1,100 units I brought, I lost 773. So if you looked, Mogrubs got 18, and our Goblin firing line didn't do too bad. They were able to the armor sundering I think really helped when we took down some of those dragons. We focused on dragons, we focused on a group of archers. We were just really doing good work. The Black Orcs, of course, like always, champions across the board, hundreds of kills. 80 kills with these warlords, boys. They did really well. I was able to get a couple of good loons off. Nazi skulkers came in the back and were able to kill those witch elves and really kept them from being a problem. And overall, it was just great synergy between both of our teams. If we take a look at our opponents, look at this: 119 kills with that Skink Priest of Heavens. He was doing major work. Krotgar, 100 kills. And look at Saurus, 100 kills, 117 with these Temple Guards. These guys were all over the place, just 51, 32 with the Chameleon Skinks. I mean, the Lizardman was just killing units left and right. Besides that, he had 2 Bastiladons. He had 2 of those Pterodon Riders. He did have Krotgar. I mean, it was just, there was a major amount of health to chew through, and it was really, really difficult. I'm surprised that we were able to take down that Lizardman. But I mean, 200 kills between those Bastiladons. Look at the Dark Elf player. He got 230 on Malekith. That is so crazy. Malekith was just using spells left and right. I think a lot of those kills were on goblins and units like that, but he was just doing work with those dragons. 100 kills with this Black Dragon. So those 2 dragon bills are normally hard to deal with, but a big help for us was that we were able to take out those Dark Riders and his Dark Shards so early. 0 on these 3 groups. So that I think we're all routed off by the they were knocked off by the Foot of Gork and then kept off by those by Draniel's horsemen routing them off the field. And Draniel was actually doing really good at that, making sure to keep escorting everyone off the field, making sure they didn't stay around for too much fighting. The Witch Elves again were a non-issue. The Black Rod of Nagaron, we did see them make a final stand. But overall, it was those dragons and those big Lizardmen units. We were able to kind of double team the DarkElves, and once we took on the Lizardmen a little bit later, it was just such a pain with that big, and Malekith lasting so long to the very end. But I mean, it was just a great game. Me and Draniel were so excited at the end of it that we won. We were cheering. It was just a blast. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. You know, sorry I haven't been able to make as many videos lately, but things have been going on in, you know, my family and all sorts of crazy stuff going on, real life calls. But when I do get great games, I definitely want to get them up for you guys to see. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe for more great online content. This is Black Iron, and this has been another one of Black Iron's battles.